Our exploration of the shifting city concluded with the Cloud Pier's fine dining, before enjoying an evening view alongside Karai. When she leaned forward against the shimmering railing overlooking the abyss below, I thought it might be the only thing holding her upright. She had the weight of the world on her shoulders, and I imagined the fear that humanity might be the culprit, after all, troubled her. It took on a new meaning for me to prove that my people weren't the bad guys through this 5D probe, not just to save my species anymore. I was nervous about facing the judiciary of experimentation, and finding myself under the spotlight when Karai offered us up as candidates. The illusion had sent me a message on the side, requesting that we keep our relationship or business until this was done. She didn't want to give the appearance of impropriety, with her government microanalyzing her proposal. We were a day away from facing down the hand of power that has shut down Sol. It was simple enough to find lodgings overnight, with the shifting city hotels being palatial. I still tossed and turned as I tried to fall into much-needed sleep. I couldn't forget that moment with Karai. My thoughts were fogged by how on earth I would keep her interested, if this was something I wanted. How did a human even go about courting an immortal alien goddess? Sophia, Sagua, had 2 X chromosomes, so maybe I'd have to ask her for advice. I didn't want to mess this up, and I had no clue what would make a woman like this happy. You're overthinking this, and you have more important things to worry about right now. Fucking up with the judiciary could mean the human race is no longer around, and that I won't be either to stress about relationships. That's a scary thought that I wish I didn't have. The prospect of returning to my human body had excited me, for both its familiar form and awesome superpowers, but it also lent itself to a new wave of insecurities. What if the comparison between Estai and Preston wasn't as favourable as Karai said? What about those superpowers that would make a passionate kiss or anything of that nature very dangerous for her? I'd be terrified of hurting her, just like how easily my hands smashed through the Durandi's concrete. I grunted with frustration as my rumination bubbled over into the wee hours of the night. At some point, I slipped into a slight spell of restless sleep. A hand jostled my shoulder, awakening me from my abbreviated slumber. Huh? Time to go? In a few minutes, Karai said in a soft voice, causing me to snap upright. Not who you were expecting? I figured it was Sagua telling me to get my ass out of bed, but I'm happy it's you. I wanted to check on you. I know how difficult all of this preparation for Swarm has been for you. Whatever happens today, I hope you know how grateful I am that you joined me on this path. She planted a kiss on my cheek, then rested her head on my shoulder. I froze up, like my limbs were locked in place. Please, do not feel any pressure around me. I chose you because of who you are. A nervous, tongue-tied buffoon? I stammered. I thought we were keeping things professional until after the judiciary. In public, yes. I was hoping to steal a few brief moments before we head to the judiciary. If anyone can quell my tempestuous nerves right now, it is you. I could use a laugh. To tell you the truth, this all frightens me. You? Frightened? I exclaimed, looking deep into her blackened eyes with concern. Why? You can talk to me. A deep frown creased Karai's lips, and her shoulders sagged. I am worried about what might happen if I fail you, if I can't save humanity. I couldn't bear a universe and a life without your people. I acted so sure-footed in my plan so that you'd trust me, but I'm uncertain that it'll work, or that we'll find... That humanity might cause your extinction after all, and then you don't know what you'd do. Yes. I've tried to do the right thing, Preston, but it's so hard to know what that even is. Perhaps that's a failing of my deadened conscience. You would have that fire in your eyes, and just know. I placed my hand around her forehead, pulling her closer to me. No, I wouldn't. That fire is because I'm angry that I can never save the people I love when it matters. I don't know what I'd do in your shoes. I'm darn certain I know this answer, but I think you need to say it. Why did you decide to help humanity? I've asked myself why I'm siding with you, in spite of the risk, and it's because you make me happy. It's so shamefully simple, yet a complicated mess. Truth be told, and this might anger you, but I don't know how to decide which decisions my people were wrong about. Heartless isn't the same as wrong. I looked deep into her eyes, wanting her to see the lack of judgment inside them. I'm not angry, Karai. I'm very glad you trusted me with your feelings, and with the memory walk. The thing I can say is I'd rather be wrong than fucking heartless. Don't you agree? Yeah, but sometimes you can't be wrong. You can't afford to be, or you'll lose the thing your heart cares about. What if I've already failed you? Whatever happens at the judiciary, I believe in you, Karai. Do you have a hyphen name like the Fakra? A single tear rolled from her eye, and she looked away. Yes, they did take that custom from us. Karai Sran, that's my name. Hear me now, Karai Sran. You're wicked smart, and I know that you've done everything you could. No one did or could have stepped up like you did, or come up with a better plan. What means the world to me is that you'd even try. I know your intent, your heart. Feeling that is what made me fall for you. That's how you truly feel? The Aleutian startled, and it was then I realized that I'd admitted serious feelings far too early. I was going to scare her off already, damn it. Thank you. Sorry, that was silly and... Not to weird you out, but I loved you from the moment I held you in my arms, when you were drugged and calling for help after escaping Big Head. I'd watched videos of you and your antics, and I couldn't get enough of you. That's far sillier. I cleared my throat. Wow, I never, got that impression. Of course you didn't. I'm fairly certain you hated me. Just another soulless illusion who screwed humanity over. You weren't very receptive to me, so I wrote it off. But then I started to think there was something there. You felt different? Well, I do have different skin, so of course I feel different. I must not have noticed you playing a game of nanobot grab-ass over there. This is not what the itsy-bitsy spider is about. Watching our cultural wrong. Naughty Karai. The Aleutian smiled flirtatiously before standing. Well, I'd love to hear you scold me. We need to leave for the judiciary. We can't be late. Thank you for lifting my spirits. No problem. Let's do this. You got this. Karai Sran extended a hand to me and pulled me out of the room. Mikri and Segua were already waiting, and notably, the Vascar's expression looked irate. The Aleutian released our interlaced fingers to open a portal, and I steeled my nerves as I reflected on this conversation. I'd chosen to have faith in our Aleutian ally to save humanity because I meant what I said. I believed in her. That bedrock needed to be enough to give me confidence and allow me to be supportive of a wonderful woman. Sagua and Mikri stepped through the portal close behind, as we got our first look at the Judiciary of Experimentation. Embossed seats waited for the invited guests, and through the lens of augmented reality, I could see 4 marked with our names. With the whole of the government called the half of the eternal judiciaries, it figured that colourful flames were tended to behind the experimentation panel. Nobody was paying much mind to us, though when I looked at the posh Justicar and intricate golden-orange nanobot chainmail on the stage, I thought his eyes were focused on me. It was as if he could see right through me and was sizing me up. That must be in my head. Delving deeper into the geotagged nanobot interface, it seemed that multiple chat rooms were open, which permitted simultaneous conversations. That might be important to monitor to see how the assembled guests reacted to Karai's suggestion, and to read the mood of the room. This is like an organic network, Mikri told Segua. Notably, the android was making a point to look around me and focus on her. I am surprised you can keep up with so much information. I snorted. It seems useful, but I can't. Not even gonna try. The way you're not going to try to include me anymore? Yes, that figures. Speak to Karai instead. I shot an aghast look at Sagua. What did I do? I had one conversation with her this morning. Mikri, Sagua scolded, looking at me out of the corner of her eyes. You're being incredibly rude and unfair to Estai. Now isn't the time, but I'm disappointed in the behavior you're exhibiting. We are going to talk about this later. Hooray, the Vascar said, imitating an eye roll with his pixel movements. Everything I do is wrong. If you care about us, can you put your personal concerns aside for the duration of this meeting? Humanity will be erased if this goes poorly. This is a very stressful time, and I'd deeply appreciate it if you didn't make matters worse. If you helped us. I still care about you. Do not worry. I will aid your efforts to save Sol and persuade the judiciary. I do not wish to lose you, even though it is evident I already have. Oh, no you haven't, Mikri. Sweetheart, you shouldn't take this.
Let us commence the scheduled session to discuss docket item 108.2.34.
The Justiciary announced in a booming voice, his eyes never leaving the four of us.
A new probe has been commissioned to acquire more details about our foreseen disappearance and assess whether this future has been averted for our containment of the Sol dimension. This is the final meeting before its launch, and all protocols will be solidified by the end of the hearing. Any questions?
A silence filled the room, and I noticed that the colour of the flames behind him seemed to change with the phase of the meeting. A quick search revealed it also shifted based upon who was speaking. I racked my brain for a name for this leader figure, trying to remember my cultural data before pulling up a cheat sheet Mikri had sent me. Justikar Kolban, that was his name. I definitely knew that.
Watchakarai has brought forth a proposal to alter the search procedure. I bring her forward to the half-seat to discuss this breakthrough that her research team has made, which could allow us to send manned guides along with the probe and have exacting control.
Kolban murmured, still casting an unnerving stare at me.
A bold claim indeed. I hope you intend to elaborate on this discovery.
I gave Karai a smile and winked at her, as she ambled up to the stage. There was some light clapping from the audience, which suggested many were aware of her work with humans. Yeah, that was always going to be weird to think about. The Karai that settled down in the half seat was the epitome of composure, shifting herself into the role of calculated watcher like she had at Pompeii. Her eyes were focused and locked in, but her body language was relaxed, as if nothing could bother her. There's the aloof, intimidating illusion aura she likes to project. I hope she doesn't do this the first time we get into a fight. I'd fall like a wet paper towel. Good morning, Karai said, offering a half smile that didn't reach her ears. It's a pleasure to be able to share the fruits of our work, unlocking a capability that Aleutians have been seeking since the human's precog was uncovered. It is with great pride that I can say that we've discovered a procedure that can harden our brains to 5D exposure. Kolban steepled his grey fingers.
Ah, yes. Do go on. We'd love to hear all about this work. The Judiciary of Experimentation has appropriated funds to your team for centuries and come away empty-handed for some time. Surely you can go into the details.
It involves a nanobot brain transplant, as shown in this exhibit, one that we've been refining for years upon years. The presentation shared with each member in the auditorium seemed derived from legitimate research, though I knew Karai hadn't gotten any real results. Shutting down certain areas of the brain responsible for higher thought and visual processing offers the same effects as killing all of it. We can say with a 90% degree of certainty that this will work, yet allow continued consciousness.
I'm uncertain how these simulations got to these results, or whether they're replicable. Can you please provide the exact parameters to the judiciary for us to peer review these findings?
Of course I can, but it will require certain variable changes and deep neuromorphic processing. The variance in quantum mechanics in the fifth dimension has affected our results. This understanding is what allowed us to solve the issue. As happy as I am to have my work checked, I have confidence in my research. We shouldn't waste time on a critical matter. I brought 2 test subjects who've received this treatment and can provide results.
So, you found 2 volunteers who sign a waiver like that. I find that a little peculiar to take such a high chance of ending their lives. Would they like to explain why?
We're doing it to protect the Aleutian species. We'd rather take a risk to ourselves than have everyone in our great society perish. Sagua telepathically broadcasted to the entire room. She understood these nanothingies better than me.
Can you state this verbally, Sagua?
Not in their language. Karai told us that both forms of communication are acceptable, Sakura told me privately, before switching to the all channel. I'm not certain what game you're playing, Justicar Corbin, but I don't wish for a part in it. I trust in the purity of direct, unerring communication, which words can never fully construe.
So that's a no. No matter. Of course we must have brave souls who would avert a heavy risk cast upon our entire species. I must suggest to Watcher Karai that we should have more volunteers prepped with this procedure, rather than not having enough hands on deck. It would be ideal to have people directly involved in the probe's construction and operation, don't you think?
Karai's expression wavered slightly. I must insist that you don't follow that course, Justicar Corbin. These procedures are yet untested, and 2 lives are as many as I'm willing to risk. My people, who I know their reasons and authenticity.
Are you saying that my people are not of the same metal as yours?
Of course not, sir. We should just have a small test group.
Why? This grim future concerns all of us. Why can you not bestow the treatment upon volunteers of my choosing? It would be their decision.
It simply is not ready for a rollout, except for illusions with a very specific neural composite. I'm unwilling to take that risk.
I know the reason you won't share these advancements, and why your answers skirt the details.
Corbin dropped the charade, staring at Karai with open contempt.
It might be because your solution to the issue was to transplant human brains into Aleutian bodies.
Shot gasps spread throughout the chamber of spectators, and every head snapped in our direction, as if we were a herd of buffalo that had appeared on a merry-go-round. My heart stopped in my chest, a sinking feeling tugging on my stomach. Karai flinched backwards like she'd been electrocuted, unable to formulate a reply. This plan had just collapsed in the blink of an eye. Somehow Justicar Corbin had known. The secret humans in the room, and our allies, were in a metric ton of trouble.